We acknowledge that the land Yorkville University operates on in New Brunswick is the traditional territory of the Wabanaki Confederacy, the MACP, the Wolastoq Malisite First Nation. We also acknowledge that the applicable treaties for this region are referred to as the Peace and Friendship Treaties. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures.
Congratulations, MACP graduates. This is such a wonderful milestone, and I'm really proud of your perseverance through the program.
Congratulations, everybody, on your graduation. It's a great day. It brings together so much. I hope you're thinking about all the friends that you've made during your studies. Think about the faculty that have touched you and inspired you. Think about what the degree means in terms of your family and your friends and your career. And boy, it's one of the great days in everyone's life.
Thank you for your commitment to your studies and for your ongoing contribution to the Yorkville University community.
It was an honor to connect to all of my fellow students and my professors and to my supervisors through this shared experience of learning and growing together.
On behalf of the Board of Governors of the university, to express our greetings to you, our delight at your accomplishment.
I've had a great time interacting and learning from my peers, and I'm so happy to be celebrating the graduation of our 2020 graduates and our 2021 graduates.
I congratulate everyone for making this milestone in the graduating class of 2021.
It's been a difficult year for everyone, so I applaud you on persevering and completing your program during such a challenging time.
May you only experience greater success going forward.
Congratulations again. Best wishes going forward. Stay connected. Remember, you're a member now of the Yorkville University alumni community. Good evening or afternoon from wherever you are across Canada and around the world. And welcome to Yorkville University's 2021 virtual graduation ceremonies. My name is Rick Davey. I'm the president of the university and your master of ceremonies. Let me start by stating the obvious. I so wish I were greeting you from the new convention center in downtown Fredericton, New Brunswick, site of the planned 2021 graduation ceremonies. You would be there with fellow students, faculty, and staff who you worked with over the course of your studies, yet never met in person. It's a wonderful event. Instead, we've organized a virtual celebration that I hope you'll enjoy with your family and friends. Whereas your studies featured asynchronous delivery, your graduation will be synchronous, with no DQs. So let's get started. I am very pleased to introduce Dr. Michael Markovits, Chair of the university's Board of Governors. Dr. Markovits is the founding president and investor of Yorkville University. As you might suppose, he has been a huge supporter of the university's students, graduates, and faculty. Under his leadership, Yorkville University has grown from a single program delivered online from New Brunswick to a pan-Canadian university with campuses in Ontario and British Columbia. Dr. Markovits received his PhD in psychology from the University of Chicago. I am very pleased to welcome him, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Michael Markovits.
My name is Michael Markovits, and I'm chair of the Yorkville University Board of Governors. On behalf of the Board of Governors, I bring greetings to all of our graduates, to their families and friends who may be in attendance, and to friends of the university who may be watching this presentation and the graduation ceremony. And in many respects, what's happened is not only the result of the education you've received, the friends you've made among your peers and among our faculty, but also these very odd times in which you have been a student. There really isn't anyone who has anyone in living memory who has experienced anything like what you and I and all the rest of us have gone through over the last year and a half. We seem to be out of the woods now, or at least coming to the end of the woods. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel here, but these are times we will always remember. I think we'll remember them perhaps as a mixed blessing in some ways. With things being closed, there was more time for reflection, more time to study, more time to think about your future path in life. And now, of course, now that this pandemic is on the wane, we are now all of us on truly an upward trajectory as we look forward. I would say to you too that while it is your name that appears on your diploma, I've always felt this way actually, it is not only your name, but there should be an asterisk down to the bottom that names all of your family members, your children, your spouse, your parents, uncles and aunts, friends, whoever really helped and supported you and guided you through these years and through your study at the university. This success is yours, but it's not yours alone. Success belongs to everyone who helped you come to this point, to this celebration, and to this day of celebration in your life.
This evening, we are celebrating the achievement of over 2,000 graduates of the Master of Arts in Counseling Psychology program. 9 provinces and territories are represented, plus graduates situated around the world. Each one of you, like every Yorkville University graduate, is a participant in 3 phenomena that are and have been changing post-secondary education. My title for these remarks is 50, 40, and 17. Let's start with 50. It was more than 50 years ago, long before the business concept of a disruptor was even imagined, that the government of the United Kingdom started to work on the idea of a non-traditional, open access, and innovative university. The result of this idea was the founding of the Open University in 1969. And by 1971, when I graduated with my undergraduate degree, the Open University had started to introduce delivery methodologies to break the time and place constraints of traditional university programs. Over the years, it has pioneered and/or perfected the use of correspondence through print and AV technologies. It has used audio and television and distributed classrooms to bring content to the world. And it has pioneered synchronous and asynchronous technologies to provide unheard of access to university programs. More important, it has supported and facilitated the massification of higher education from an opportunity for the elite to a public good available to all who have the ambition to study. While the Open University cannot take the credit for all that we employ today as online faculty and students, it is only right to acknowledge its leadership as it has impacted the opportunities for so many adult learners. 40, and I was one of them. Here's my profile when I was 40 years of age. I had been a college teacher for 15 years and was persuaded to move into an administrative position. I have 2 children under 9, a wife who works uncertain hours, a car that is unreliable, and 2 cats and a Great Dane. Like many of you, I knew 2 things. I needed to get a degree, in my case, a master's degree, to advance my career. And second, I certainly could not go back to the kind of program I had experienced as an undergraduate. My solution was Brock University, which used local high school classrooms. The faculty came to places much more convenient for me. I still had to be in class every week for the 3 hours as prescribed, and I still had to get to the class on time, but the university was flexible. I could take terms off. The courses were, for the most part, relevant to what I was doing as a professional. The faculty were supportive. In fact, one of them became one of my great mentors. And does this sound familiar? The only time I ever went to Brock University was for my graduation. I wanted my children to see that their dad's studying mattered and perhaps encourage them to pursue a higher education. 17 years ago this spring, Yorkville University gained designation as a university authorized to offer a Master of Arts in Counselling Psychology degree. Regulated by New Brunswick's Degree Granting Act, your university is very much a product of the previous two phenomena. Today, you are graduating from an institution that is based on the same principles of admissions and technological access represented by the Open University, and on a focus on the professional adult learner striving for career advancement and success. The founders of the university were prescient in choosing New Brunswick as the location. When the university opened its new campus at Yorkville Landing, I noted how fortunate the institution had been to locate in a jurisdiction that supports innovation and access in higher education. And how is your university doing these 17 years later? Today, Yorkville University is even more focused on its academic mission of access, rigor, and flexibility. Its vision is to be Canada's national university, with designations to provide practitioner-oriented degree and diploma programs in provinces across the country. To that end, in New Brunswick, the university has introduced a Doctor of Counselling and Psychotherapy degree, Canada's first applied doctorate in the field. In Ontario, a first class of the Bachelor of Creative Arts program was launched in April, while in British Columbia, we are shepherding 2 master's programs in business and technology through the consent process. And the university's footprint is growing. In 2019, Yorkville University opened a new campus in British Columbia and a new showcase, Toronto Film School campus in downtown Toronto. The fact of these new campuses attests to the growing appeal of Yorkville University and the Toronto Film School programs to purposeful students across Canada and around the world. So yes, your university is steadily achieving its vision and mission thanks to the contributions of so many amazing students, faculty, staff, and alumni. But that doesn't mean we can't do more. Today, as you graduate, you become a de facto member of the Yorkville University alumni community. One of the purposes of this community is to provide opportunities for our alumni to stay connected and to help build the university's reputation, and by extension, the reputation of your degree. And speaking of degrees, let's start awarding them. I'd like to introduce Yorkville University's Vice President, Academic and Provost for New Brunswick, Dr. Peter Hall, who will provide remarks as we segue into the awarding of degrees. Like many of you and me, Dr. Hall initiated his postgraduate studies to change his career trajectory. While still working in student services at UBC, he first completed a post-baccalaureate diploma in education. He then went on to obtain a Master's of Education in Educational Studies, followed by a Master of Arts and a Doctor of Philosophy in General Psychology. Today, Dr. Hall is a registered psychotherapist with the College of Registered Psychotherapists of Ontario, the CRPO, and he holds a number of certifications, including Canadian Certified Counselor, Supervisor, and Canadian Certified Counselor from the Canadian Counselling and Psychotherapy Association. And There's more. He is an approved clinical supervisor from the Center for Credentialing Education. Graduates, friends and family, faculty and guests, Dr. Peter Hall.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to your virtual graduation ceremony. I'm Dr. Peter Hall, and I'm the Provost and Vice President Academic for New Brunswick. I would like to congratulate you on this momentous occasion. You are entering the counseling and psychotherapy profession at an interesting time in the evolution of mental health services. In 2018, roughly 5.3 million people in Canada mentioned that they needed some help for their mental health. And over 1 million of those Canadians had mental health needs that were fully unmet. Keep in mind, this was 3 years ago in 2018, before COVID-19. While there is plenty of research happening in relation to COVID-19 and mental health, it is still too soon to see many reports on the data that is being collected. But we do have some, and sadly, but unsurprisingly, it paints a fairly dark picture. Even without more quality data, one thing is certain. COVID-19 has had a pervasive effect on mental health, and the consequences of these COVID-19 related challenges are likely to be long-standing. While the impacts of COVID are tragic, humans are resilient and we find ways to overcome adversity. For example, we have already seen increases in funding to support mental health services, and an increasing number of insurance companies are adding counselors and psychotherapists to the list of approved healthcare providers for extended health coverage. All of this is to say that one of the very few positive things to come out of the pandemic is an increased awareness of the importance of mental health, including funding for more mental health services, which translates to more jobs. In addition to the Government of Canada's pre-COVID 2017 $5 billion investment to support increased access to mental health services, we're seeing the provinces and territories are implementing strategic plans to improve access to mental health professionals by increasing the supply of mental health workers. And new funding commitments supplementing federal investments have also been made by many provinces to increase access to mental health services. While you are all trained to be competent entry to practice counselors and therapists, there is another role I encourage you to take on as graduates of the MACP program and new counseling and psychotherapy health professionals, which is to become advocates for mental health. Advocates for accessible mental health services for every Canadian, advocates for more research funding into the causes and treatment of mental health issues, advocates for increased education about mental health disorders in an effort to reduce stigma and discrimination, and the list goes on. Congratulations again, 2021 MACP graduates. All of your hard work paid off. Enjoy your new profession. The first years of practice are an exciting time of personal and professional growth and learning. I wish you all the best and look forward to hopefully seeing you in the Doctor of Counseling and Psychotherapy program in a couple of years.
Congratulations, MACP graduates. This is such a wonderful milestone, and I'm really proud of your perseverance through the program. Welcome to the profession. The valedictorian for the Masters of Arts in Counseling Psychology in New Brunswick is Amarita Sandhu. Congratulations. She resides in Surrey, BC, and she's the mother of two, an author of a popular fiction novel titled Chasing Kismet, and a registered clinical counselor. She has a private practice called Therapy Cove Counseling, and she works with adults with depression, anxiety, and stress management. In her downtime, she enjoys time with her family and a mindful exploration of the great outdoors. Congratulations.
Hello, everyone. I'm humbled and honored to be here as valedictorian for the Master of Counseling Psychology program. I used to think that happy or successful people had something that I just didn't. Then I realized it's not about some magical quality or trait. It's about being able to lean into uncertainty, all while holding your fears and insecurities at bay. To muster together the strength to just get the work done, one discussion question or one sentence in a paper at a time. As higher education students, we pour ourselves into this delicate balance of tending to our academics while attempting to stay afloat in every other arena of our lives. This is what it means to believe that better days are ahead, and that maybe the secret to life really is hidden in those tired, overused cliches that most of us are sick of hearing and reading. That there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that every cloud does have a silver lining, and that if at first you don't succeed, try again. Yorkville is a prestigious school with many years of graduates that have come before us, but we are the first of our kind. A graduating class who persevered and burned the midnight oil to meet deadlines and complete assignments, all while the world raged on through uncharted territory. Many of us suffered loss, endured unbearable hardships, and had to catch up to some sweeping change. But despite all odds, here we are with our heads held high as accomplished graduates. When I was younger, I was taught that the value of education is immeasurable. My parents ingrained in me the notion that each and everything that can be attained on this earth can also be taken away, except for one's education. And that's when I vowed to pour myself and my absolute best effort into every realm of academic achievement. I learned that the key wasn't to strive for perfection, but passion. And this is what I found here at Yorkville, an opportunity to do right by my parents, who sacrificed their own aspirations to ensure that their children would never have to do the same. And the result is living out a dream in full color, being completely attuned to my calling and feeling a surreal awe that I get to practice as a therapist due to the efforts of my own merit, and now help others find their inner strength and happiness too. What greater honor than to thoroughly apply yourself in a craft and to come out on the other end, humbled, wiser, and capable of excellency. But of course, with great power comes great responsibility. This is why I believe that higher education is more than just grades and a degree parchment. It's about opening a part of ourselves that can now advocate for those who may not be able to do so, and to become an ally for the marginalized. It's about challenging the status quo by being a mindful, observant, critical thinker. And I hope that all of us graduates can do just that. Use our refined edge to speak up against prejudice and address this at every opportunity that we possibly can. Because as us practitioners know, it's about those micro changes that end up creating big waves of growth and improvement. And this is how I view my graduating class, as pavers of their own truth, capable of not just surviving amongst adversity, but thriving amongst it. Congratulations, everyone. We did it.
Before we conclude these ceremonies, I'd like to make two statements. First, all of you are invited to attend next year's graduation ceremonies in Fredericton, New Brunswick. We'll be in touch to provide details as soon as they are confirmed. And second, a personal comment. You may recall my mentioning that my children attended my graduation at Brock University. They sat so far up in the bleachers they weren't sure it was me being hooded. But did it make an impression? I suspect it did. My son has 3 degrees, including an engineering degree and an MBA, and my daughter has 3 degrees, including a PhD in mathematics. But more important is what my children have taught me about graduations. As a career post-secondary educator, I have attended well over 100 graduation ceremonies. But the ones that stand out are those of my children. I don't mind telling you that I was weepy-eyed as I witnessed my daughter being hooded for her PhD, remembering so many of our family's events and behaviors and our dreams and ambitions for our children. This is a proud day for all of you graduates, but perhaps an even prouder day for your spouses and partners, your children, and your parents. And that's what makes every graduation, but especially yours, so meaningful, and why graduations are my favorite celebrations, especially this year when we yearn for something special. Thank you for being part of these ceremonies. Congratulations on your graduation. Good night. Stay safe and healthy.